Our world is changing constantly, and it does so fast. Fresh scientific discoveries and advances in technology are made every single day. There is no question that these advances have shaped the way we live. Our health and well-being are improving, we can travel anywhere in the world faster, and it is more affordable. Communication is easier than it ever was, and the way we work has dramatically changed. Technology plays a big role in almost every workplace, and it keeps getting better. More and more tasks that were previously done by humans are being automated. That means that humans are increasingly left to do tasks that are more and more complex, tasks that can't yet be automated. And this creates increasingly demanding work environments. As a result, employees nowadays need to be able to quickly adapt to constant changes and new technology, and rather than just being knowledgeable in a specific field or technically capable to do a specific job, they need to be good at doing several things, like communicating effectively in multiple contexts, thinking critically, solving problems, and constantly finding ways of improving the way they work to stay at the top of their game. These demands are not often met, and this difference between the skills employers need and the skills their workforce offers has been called the skills gap. According to some reports, 77% of employers think that recent graduates lack in skills such as problem solving, creative thinking, and communication. To help close this skills gap, graduate attributes were introduced in universities. These range from knowledge to personal attributes such as creativity, values and attitudes like being ethical and appreciating diversity, and skills like critical thinking, for example. Most universities have created or adopted their own lists of graduate attributes, and they endeavor to offer all of their students opportunities to develop these attributes during their degrees. Most commonly, these attributes are implemented using curriculum mapping. Essentially, this means that each graduate attribute's development is linked to a certain activity students do as part of a course, or a certain experience or range of experiences they get while at university. For example, students might be expected to develop their teamwork while working on a group project, or improve on their public speaking skills by giving presentations. However, the strategies universities use to help their students develop these attributes don't seem to work as well as planned. Progress in the area has been described in the literature as slow and patchy. So why is this the case? Well, graduate attributes are more complex than they might appear at first sight. This complexity could explain why efforts to help students develop these attributes don't always work as planned. Let's go over 3 reasons why it is so difficult to study and implement graduate attributes effectively. First, graduate attributes are often, if not always, interrelated. For example, communication, leadership, negotiation, problem solving, and feedback skills, which are often found on lists of graduate attributes, are all necessary for effective teamwork. You will also need communication to be able to lead a team. You will use it to overcome problems and to negotiate with your teammates and reach an agreement. In order to effectively negotiate, you will also need to understand the situation and essentially use problem-solving skills to get 2 people to reach an agreement. A good leader should be able to give good feedback to their team and also use feedback from their team to improve and develop personally. And this can go on. It is very easy for this picture to become very complicated, and these are just 5 attributes. In our most recent model, we identified over 40 attributes. The point is, if you had to observe a team in action in real life, it would become very difficult to understand where one attribute ends and another begins. Is it possible to distinguish between these attributes? Is there a clear line to separate them? How could you even have teamwork without communication? On to the second reason we'll cover in this video. Graduate attributes are not easily seen or easy to assess. Imagine for a second you wanted to find out how good someone is at solving problems. How would you do that? You might give them a scrambled Rubik's Cube and ask them to solve it within a time limit. If you want to be more thorough, you might make up a very complicated problem with dozens of smaller problems within it and test their skills at solving it. Or you might be one of those people who chooses to give them an impossible problem, to get some insight into their problem-solving process rather than their ability to come up with a solution. Nevertheless, all you can do is assess their performance in a particular situation. You are not assessing the attribute itself, but rather the person's performance in a very specific context. They might not be able to solve the Rubik's Cube in a given amount of time, but could still be really good at solving other kinds of problems. Also, when given an impossible problem, people who are better communicators might be able to explain their thinking more eloquently. That doesn't mean their problem-solving process is better, it's just easier for you to understand. The second test isn't without flaws either. No matter how complicated you make your test, you cannot cover every possible situation. That's why the only thing you're getting is a snapshot of an attribute. And it's difficult to tell how accurate this snapshot is because it depends so much on the context. And this leads us to the third and final point on why graduate attributes are very complicated. Context matters. In other words, these attributes are not easily and fully transferable from one context to another. Take teamwork, for example. Just because you learn how to work very well in a team by playing basketball at uni, it doesn't mean you'll be great at working in a team within a tech company. You may be able to translate some of what you learned in your basketball team to the tech company, like keeping track of what the rest of the team is doing so you can time your actions with theirs, but you won't be able to fully and effortlessly transfer your abilities from one context to the other. So there is no guarantee that what students learn in their time at university will be readily transferred to the workplace. These are just 3 of the things that make graduate attributes hard to study and difficult to implement. I hope this short video has given you some insight into the complexity of graduate attributes. If you want to find out more about our research in the area, have a look at a dedicated APHF page. Thank you for watching.